I'm Jack Burns of the Patriot Think Tank. Welcome to the first episode of The Warrior Spirit. This first video will do nicely as a means of explaining the theme. You'll find these episodes in a newly created playlist across most of our platforms. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to show you non-graphic atrocities that are taking place along our borders. Now, I'm not certain which side they're committed on, but make no mistake, they are tied to the United States and our current administration, as sure as the moon is tidal locked to the earth. As always, it's not enough to discuss what's happening, but also what you can do to stop it. You can run from these things if you choose, but one day there'll be no place to hide. Quick side note, please remember to click like and post a comment. Companies like Facebook will push this into people's feed as a recommendation if enough people do that. That means we get the word out in a bigger way. So please, help us help you. Here's how this is going to flow. I'm going to play a few brief segments of a video produced by an organization called Women Fighting for America. After each segment, I will pause to share a thought and move on to the next clip. After the third clip, I'm going to summarize and then provide guidance as to how you can turn your feelings of helplessness around and give direction to your warrior spirit. See you on the other side.
This rope is used to tie up children and women to these trees, tying their hands together so they can't struggle and fight and claw back.
And they take turns.
This is gang raping, guys. This isn't, oh, just your typical. This is violent gang rape.
The condoms and the lube were right next to the kid's shirt and the socks. The kid's socks. Sick. All this stuff just left.
Another thing that's really just heartbreaking is what they're called rape trees. And you'll find those, and basically the coyotes will rape the women. And then they take their bras and their panties, and then they throw them up on the tree branches for others to see. It's kind of like a trophy thing.
If the woman did fight back, they pick up a rock and they've bashed their skulls in. And then we find the bones later on in the desert because the coyotes and stuff probably drag them off.
This segment ripped my heart out. Could you imagine one of your children or grandchildren tied to one of those trees, struggling, screaming in pain, screaming for your help? They may not be our children, but they cry out to us nonetheless. Let's listen to our law enforcement regarding what they are seeing and dealing with, and their message to us.
And this administration is actually assisting the kidnapping and smuggling of these migrant children into the United States, undocumented. Seeing these kids come across the border, their eyes not dilating, they're drugged, they're not coherent, and then just handing them over to some next of kin, cousin, whatever else, anybody can fake this paperwork. The Border Patrol is just kind of doing what they can, but they're overwhelmed, including the Sheriff's Department. We're witnessing this every day down here on the ground. Wake up, America, because this is coming down your hallways. This is an evil that you've never seen before.
Could you imagine being this man? Knowing the very government that employs you has facilitated the horrors that you witness on a daily basis. Knowing that you, at best, are a Band-Aid on a fatal wound. Think about how unsettled and defeated you feel just hearing about this. Now, picture this man's emotional state of living throughout each and every day. I asked myself, would I have the strength? And if so, what would I do? Well, here's a lady that's doing something, and she has a plan for us too. Her name is Christy Hutcherson. She founded and runs Women Fighting for America. Let's give a listen.
We have a national security crisis on our hands, and the answer lies within each and every one of us. Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to stand and come join us in the fight to save our nation? I'm a military mom, and I'm a small business owner, and I'm a patriot who saw the evils that are taking place. And I got up and I did something about it. Each and every one of us has that spark inside of us. The answer's with we the people, nobody else but us. Our founding fathers knew it best. They said, It's a government for the people, by the people.
While her whole message was powerful, it was her last sentence regarding the Founding Fathers that resonated with me. Now, if you know anything about the Patriot think tank, you know we are dedicated to stripping the abusive power of our federal government and putting it squarely in the hands of our states, as intended by our Constitution, which has been bastardized in favor of those seeking greater and greater power. I think that's what has drawn me most to Christy. She has a plan to move us in that direction. So if you're feeling helpless, that's understandable, because you are. No one individual is going to reverse this tide. It has to be done together. I urge you to visit wwfa.win. There is a personal action list that will describe what you can do if you want to go the lone soldier route. Or there is a place to volunteer some of your time and energy. Remember, we are faced with fear and dismay as a tactic. Believe me when I tell you that if you align with others and do something positive, your feelings of hopelessness will dissipate and your warrior spirit will soar. Bye for now.